So welcome to the Facebook Live webinar. I am Allison Hardy, as some of you may know me. I wanted to do a brief introduction, just so in case anyone's new on here, so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I am a business strategist for mompreneurs. So I help mompreneurs raise their businesses while they raise their families so that they can live life on their own terms. And I believe in authentic social media, mainly through Facebook Live. I believe in automating huge portions of your business because I think that you should be able to step away from your business for a week or a month or 6 months, and it should still work for you. And that involves getting some pretty hardy systems going on in your business. And I think that's the key to scaling, and I think that's the key to success in your business. I'm also a fan of just having some fun in your business and doing things maybe a little bit out of the box and not abiding by rules, because I didn't start my own business to listen to a bunch of rules. I don't know about you guys, but rules, I don't like them. So I really urge my clients to not follow the rules and to really pave their own path. And I think that is the indicator of a successful person, is really being brave enough to do that and having enough guts, right? And so I'm really passionate about helping women raise their businesses to a point where they want them to be, because we only have one life to live. Like, there's no point in doing something you don't want to do over and over every single day. If you want to work 4 hours a day, let's do it. If you want to work 80 hours a week, let's do it. Like, if that's what makes you happy, let's do it. If you want to make 5 figures, let's do it every month. If you only want to work 6 months out of the year, like, you can do that. You just have to figure it out. And so I really pride myself on helping women figure that out in their businesses and figure out what works for them and makes them happy and what lights them up and what serves them. So this is my sweet little family. On the left is Mr. Camden James. He just turned 4 this month. And there's my husband, Tier. He is a pastor. And I'm pregnant with baby number 2. Woo-hoo. 15 weeks along right now. So it's going to be another adventure. And I'm excited to see how this pregnancy kind of influences my business and how I can really take maternity leave and my business still is afloat. So I'm super excited for this kind of new chapter in our lives. But I wanted to kind of share a little bit about my story with you guys so you understand like where I came from and where I'm going. So I was kind of thrust into entrepreneurship, we'll say. I was laid off at 6 months pregnant after teaching college level art for 10 years. I'd gone to school, I'd done all the right things, I had all the right degrees. I was ridiculously educated. I have a terminal degree in painting and I got laid off. And it was terrifying. I was 6 months pregnant. I got no severance package. I got nothing. So, one day I had my job, one day I didn't have my job, and I had no backup income coming in. And it was a really scary time. Camden was born into this world in a lot of fear. But what getting laid off did was it really allowed me to become an entrepreneur. It had been something that I wanted to do for a while, but never really granted myself permission to, because I had this degree. This is what I was going to do until I was 65 and, got my pension and retired. This is what life was going to be for me. And I was too afraid to actually jump into entrepreneurship full time. So I didn't. And if I hadn't have ever gotten laid off, I would not be here today. I can honestly say that. What I did in the 3 months before Camden was born was I took my business from part-time to full-time. So I replaced my 9-to-5 income in those 3 months, which was awesome. And I'm super proud of that. But I did it in all the wrong ways. So I worked 20-hour weeks. I canceled on coffee with my friends. I canceled on date nights with my husband. I worked like a crazy person. And I kept that frenzied pace up after Camden was born. So it was just a crazy time in my life. That's really all there is to it. And December 2015 is kind of where I hit my breaking point, for lack of a better word. My business had been slowly declining in 2015, and it finally was the writing on the wall. I logged into our bank account to see how much money we had. It was December 5th. I remember it exactly. I needed to pay Camden's preschool tuition, which was $300. I needed to go grocery shopping for the week. And we had $15 in our bank account. And there was no more money coming in for the month. And so that was my moment where I was all right, what are you going to do? How are you going to make this better? And so I applied for food stamps and got approved, which was you know, you never think you're going to have to do that for your family, but it's what we had to do. And then I hired a high-end business coach and charged the entire fee on a credit card, which doesn't make any sense. I know those two things, like, probably not the most responsible decision in the world, but it's because of that I'm sitting here talking with you guys today. And it's because of that I now have a flourishing business. And as irrational as that was, and as like crazy as my husband thought I was, it's because of that decision that my business is now flourishing. And, you know, I can confidently predict how much money I'm going to make every month. I have systems in place to keep my business afloat. And so one of those things is Facebook Live and utilizing Facebook Live. So let's dive into the content. So there's 4 topics in today's webinar, and I want to kind of just go down the line and talk about those topics with you guys. I have some notes, so if I refer to the notes every now and then, I'm just making sure I have all my content covered. So topic number 1 is Facebook Live is the most authentic way to connect with your ideal client. Leverage those hashtag mom moments to make you a client magnet. And I think this is like the number 1 objection I get from clients who don't do Facebook Live, is that, you know, their background's not pretty enough, or they don't have makeup on, or their kids are home and they're kind of loud, or like I have construction going on in the back right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's really loud. You know, there's construction going on, or the babysitter's upstairs with the kids and they're just not quiet. And it's those moments that make you you. It's the most authentic way to connect with someone. And I can say in my own business that those not so perfect moments when, like, you know, mom life interferes with business life, are those moments where I get the most feedback and where I've actually booked clients. So a couple of examples from that in my own business is one time I was doing a Facebook Live, and, you know, you always do your call to action at the end. And I thought I had copied the paste, or copied the landing page for like an event I was doing. And instead I had copied the recipe for Chipotle's black beans, and I copy and pasted it into the comments. And I'm like talking, and I didn't realize I did it. And I'm talking, and so I see these comments about black beans, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And at first I ignored it because people kind of leave crazy comments sometimes on Facebook Live. But then, like, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 popped up, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, the link is for black beans, not your scheduler or whatever I was putting in there. And it was like one of those things where it was like, oh my gosh, like it was funny and everyone laughed. And that Facebook Live got so much traction just because of that silly error. But because of that, because I got so much attention and so many eyes, sorry, I totally forgot to put this up here. Because I got so many eyes on the content, I got a ton of conversions from it. So a ton of people signed up for that webinar or whatever I was talking about. So it was a funny thing that happened. Another example, and this one is a little bit more impactful, was earlier on in 2017, I went through this like drought where I just couldn't book like a one-on-one client for like a month. And the beginning of the month, I had set a goal of booking 2 one-on-one clients that month. And I knew, you know, exactly where that money would go. I knew what it would do for my business. I knew what it would do for my family. I set all the intentions. I did all the right things. But I was trying these new marketing techniques that I'd never tried before. And they just weren't working. So I had my last call of the month. It was the 28th. And I had this call in the morning. And the client said she wasn't going to work with me. And I was crushed. I was so defeated. You know, I had this new business coach, and she was having me do all these different things. And it like wasn't working. And so I was super bummed. I was crushed. And that month I wasn't going to make any income. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, how is this going to work? And, you know, I figured it out, but, you know, it just wasn't ideal, and it wasn't what I wanted. And I have really big goals for myself, and I set really big goals every month, and I hit them every month because I do the work to get those. And I was doing all the right things. It just wasn't working out. And so later on that day, I did a Facebook Live broadcast in my Facebook group, and that woman who had said she wasn't going to work with me tuned in. And so I knew she was there, and I could feel myself like getting emotional because this was still kind of like raw. I know we've all kind of experienced this, but it was still like, oh, she's on and she denied working with me, and oh, I was so upset about it. And I just burst into tears on the Facebook Live. I was just so upset about it still because it was still so raw. And I really try to keep my emotions out of my business, but sometimes they just come in, you know? And I was just like super passionate about what I was talking about. And I just started crying, like no getting by. And, you know, I ended the broadcast and I went upstairs and I just had another meltdown and came back downstairs like 30 minutes later and had a message from her. And she said, "It was a huge mistake of me not to book with you. Will you take me on as a client?" And I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, "Because of that Facebook Live, because of that passion you just showed me, I want to work with you." I was operating from a place of fear. I was scared. I'm scared of the investment, but I want to move forward and I think we can make this work. And sure enough, she became one of my best clients, like one of the best clients I've ever had. She got amazing results working with me. And it's because I cried. Like, it's totally because I cried. But she saw that passion. So point number one is that you can't hide from Facebook Live. Some of my most successful Facebook Live broadcasts have been when life happened and my audience actually thanked me for it. So do not be afraid of those imperfect moments. Don't be afraid of your non-makeup face. Don't be afraid of your messy mom bun. Don't be afraid of your messy house. You know, don't be afraid of that stuff. That's the stuff that makes you you. And guys, if your clients don't want to work with you because you're completely authentic, then they're not your ideal clients. And yes, there is a fine line between like hot mess and just like typical mom life. I understand that. You want to be a little bit polished, but really like don't let that stuff hold you back. Like that's the authentic thing that people love in the online space. And Jennifer says, like the time my child hijacked my live feed and was applying deodorant. Yes, Jennifer. So I bet you got some comments on that because it's freaking funny, right? So that's point number one in this topic. Point number two is Facebook Live allows you to pitch without feeling like a slime ball. And this is a big motivator for me. I got my start in online entrepreneurship in network marketing. And I'm not bashing network marketing at all. It was a great thing for me at the time because if I hadn't done network marketing, I wouldn't have gotten the first like entrepreneurial taste. I wouldn't have been like, ooh, this is kind of awesome. Like, I think I want to pursue this. But with my network marketing company that I was partnered with, I was taught some really scammy marketing techniques, quite honestly. And I was taught to do some things that really didn't feel good to me. But, you know, they were all the right things. They're all the things that these successful people in business had done. And they were supposed to work for me. And they didn't. They felt terrible. So Facebook Live really allows you to pitch without feeling like a slime ball. So what I would always recommend you do is do Facebook Lives based on a pain point. So you are an expert in something very specific, right? You do something very specific for your clients. And that's why they work with you. So in every single Facebook Live broadcast you should do, you should lead with value. Lead with solving that pain point. Go deep. Don't be afraid to give away too much content. There's a point where you're giving away too much for free, but in a single Facebook Live broadcast, you can't give it all away. And that's always a concern people have. So I just wanted to address that. So dive into the pain point and solve it for your clients. This is you flexing your expertise muscle. This is you showing your audience, hey, I'm really good at this thing, and this is why you should hire me because I can help you with this thing. Answer any questions that come up while you're live, and this is a great way, again, to flex your expertise muscle. If clients or potential clients can interact with you and ask questions, make sure you answer those things live because you get the conversation going. The more engagement happens, the better, right? It makes you look more like an expert. And then share about a program that will help them further solve that pain point. So you could share about a program that you're launching. You could share about a self-study course that you have. You could share about a webinar you have coming up. You could say, if you want to talk more about this, like let's chat about it. My one-on-one program is open this month and I have 2 spots. So here's my scheduler link. Go in there, book a call with me, and let's talk about how we can work together to help solve this pain point some more. Or, your call to action could simply be join my Facebook group. It could be leave me your reflections in the comments below. It can be a lot of different things. Your call to action doesn't have to be necessarily a hard sell, but you should always have a call to action. And what that does is it gets your audience used to that, right? You're kind of training them, for lack of a better word, to expect that. So they know every single time they tune into a Facebook Live broadcast of yours, you're going to ask them to do something and they're going to start doing it because they're used to that. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be forced, but it should tell your audience how to further connect with you to help them solve the pain points that you solved. So that's topic number one. Topic number two, how to use the time that you do have to create authentic messaging and how to leverage Facebook's algorithm to create viral Facebook Live broadcasts without paying a penny for advertising. And this is something I'm a huge fan of. So Facebook Live is authentic, real connection. This isn't Facebook Live right now, it's a webinar, but you can see me. You see my short hair, you see my Daniel earrings, you see the shirt I have on. You saw that I was drinking from a Caps cup, go Caps. You see my boring background because I just moved and I can't figure out a background down here. You see me, you see my mannerisms, you see how I talk. So it's a really quick way to figure out if you like the other person on the end. Because if like this, me talking with my hands gets annoying, you're probably not going to work with me, and that's okay. Or if you like that, if you like how I talk and you like my mannerisms, you're probably going to continue to follow me, right? So it really allows the viewer to get a sneak peek into your life because they see where you're sitting, they see what you're doing, especially if you're walking around, they see those things. And granted, it can be a double-edged sword sometimes, but for the most part, like, it's a great way to connect with your audience in a real way, in a live way. Like, you're live, you're real time. So it's a really great way to connect with your audience. The second thing is you can leverage Facebook's algorithm to get seen more. And this was something I kind of experimented with in March of this year. So in March of this year, my Facebook group was around 750 people, which I was super pumped about, but I wanted to grow it, and I wanted to grow it really quickly, and I didn't want to pay any money for Facebook ads, quite honestly. So I grew it to 1,000 people in 2 weeks by leveraging Facebook Live against Facebook's algorithm. So there are a couple things that Facebook likes, and by doing these things in my Facebook group every single day for 2 weeks consistently, Facebook's algorithm boosted my group in the suggested groups area, and I got a ton of people in my group organically. So 250 people in 2 weeks, which I was super proud of. And for me at that time, that was a lot. Now my group is up around, I think, 1,600, and I probably welcome about 250 people every week just naturally, just kind of what happens. So this was a big deal, though, for me at the time. So I wanted to share with you exactly how I did that. So I did a Facebook Live broadcast every single darn day. And yes, that was challenging. It was hard to figure out topics for every single day of the week, but every single day at 3 p.m. And Facebook recognizes that. Facebook knows if you're being really consistent, and they will help you out in the algorithm, in the newsfeed. So your Facebook group will get notifications more when you go live every single day. Second thing I did was I shared Facebook Lives from my page into the group. And this is something I didn't really believe worked. But when you share content on Facebook, like use the share button, Facebook recognizes that as valuable. It's how things go viral. So when certain things get shared enough, it gets boosted. You guys see it all the time because it's gone viral, because it's been shared so many times. So I would do a Facebook Live, started on my page, my professional page, and then I would bring it over to my group. And that was a really effective strategy because more people saw my Facebook Live broadcast that way. I shared viral videos into my group. And this was something, again, I didn't really believe, but a story about this is one Friday night, I was scrolling through Facebook, like before I went to bed. I was bored and just trying to waste some time. And you guys know the viral video of the guy doing a very serious news broadcast. I think it was about North Korea, and his kids like coming in the background, and it's hilarious. So I shared that into my group, and I didn't really think anything of it. It was like 10 o'clock on a Friday night. At 6 a.m., I woke up the next morning on a Saturday. I had like 35 requests to join the group, which was insane. I never had that. And so I asked everybody who came in during that time, how did you find me? And they said in the suggested groups areas. Anytime you can share viral content into your group, the better. Obviously, make it applicable to your audience, and don't do it like every single day. But if it's like totally applicable, which it is to my audience, that Facebook or that viral video, share it into your group, Facebook like that. And then the fourth thing, which seems kind of silly, but really works is asking for engagement. So I ask for engagement 3 times in every single Facebook Live broadcast. In the very beginning, I say, you know, where are you coming from? I did that with you guys today. In the middle, when I introduce the topic, so what this does, and I say, like, do you guys struggle with this? Are you really good at this? It kind of outs people, right? So if they're really struggling with a pain point that you solve in your business, it makes them a qualified client. And so you can speak to them in your Facebook Live broadcast. You can interact with them a little bit more and just gives you a little bit more information about where they are and how you can help them. And then you can always follow up with them. You know, you could always message them or email them or friend request them or whatever and say, you know, I really loved chatting with you today. I hope that was helpful. They're going to say yes. And then you're going to, you know, continue that conversation. So it's a great way to really get to know people. And at the end, I always say, you know, if you're watching the replay or if you have any other questions, feel free to leave your comments, your questions in the comments below. I will be back and I will answer them. And that's really, really effective. The more engagement your content gets, the more Facebook recognizes it as valuable, and they will boost it in your newsfeed. And they'll boost your group in the suggested groups area. So that's just an example from my own Facebook group. You could take these concepts and apply them to anything. So you could take these concepts and apply them to like single Facebook Live broadcasts, to your page, to your profile. You can do a lot with it. Third thing you can do is you can reuse your content. And this is something I'm super passionate about, and I recommend all of you guys do this. Reuse your content. If you're putting out really great Facebook Lives every single day, you should monopolize on that. So, a couple of ideas for you. You can take a Facebook Live and send it out in a newsletter and invite people to join your group if you're doing it in a group. You can put it in a funnel. This is really helpful. You can upload it onto YouTube. You can put it in other Facebook posts. You can pitch a podcast or a blog. This is actually how I got into the Huffington Post. I sent Ariana Huffington, when she was still there, a Facebook Live broadcast. It was 3 minutes long, and she actually thanked me for it because she said she got to know me really quickly. She got to see what I was all about, and it was a whole lot more entertaining than reading a standard pitch, which I thought was kind of funny. So you can use it to pitch a podcast or a blog. So let's say you want to be a guest on a podcast or a guest on a blog. Use your Facebook Live broadcast. It's a different way of pitching. And quite honestly, people find it refreshing. I have a podcast, and when people pitch me videos, I always accept them because it's so refreshing, I think. And if they're short, though, only if they're short. If they're like 15-minute videos, I'm not about to watch. You can use them. You can use a Facebook ad. You can use a Facebook Live as a Facebook ad. And then you can retarget that audience for additional ads. So essentially, you can create your own audience out of a Facebook Live broadcast that gets sent to a certain audience. And then you can take that audience who watched it and then create a new Facebook ad targeting that. Really, the possibilities are endless, y'all. And I really want to encourage you to reuse your content. If it's good, keep using it. Like if it's a good quality something, reuse that. And I think a lot of you already do that, but I just wanted to say, reuse your content. All right, topic number 3. Strategies and methods to stay true to yourself, your family, your business, while becoming an industry leader in your field. All right, so women want authenticity. In today's online space, it's really easy to hide behind the computer screen. And you know this if you've ever posted an opinion online. People come out of the woodwork, whether they agree with you, whether they don't agree with you. They have no problem telling you what's wrong, what's right, and why you are whichever one you are. They think you are. And we all know this, and that's just kind of today's social media climate. But what I really want to see happening on Facebook and just on social media in general is using these platforms for positivity and for helping people. If your business exists to help people do certain things, you owe it to your followers, to your audience, to use it in that way. And I'm not saying you shouldn't post your opinions online or anything like that. You're more than welcome to post your opinions online. That's your right. But we should be using these platforms as a way to inspire people, as a way to help people, as a way to be a safe space, as a way to, make an impact in the world, a positive impact in the world. And Facebook Live can do that really easily. It really allows you to step into the status of an industry leader. Because I'm a firm believer that every single person on here who's listening to this, you are an industry leader. You are an expert in your field, or else you would not have started your own business. You would have been in a 9-to-5 because it's a whole heck of a lot easier, right? Owning your own business can be hard at times. But we don't start we don't start businesses because we're okay at something. We start businesses because we're really freaking good at this one thing, and we know that we can impact people through that. So leverage Facebook. That is your platform. Become that leader. Step into that role and act as if. And this is just a technical thing. So you can become an industry leader in your field by using software. You can create really high quality videos that are live streamed through third-party software. So Zoom has a feature now, OBS Studio, BeLive.tv, Ecamm. All of those things are third-party softwares that allow you to share your screen. You can do double screens. You can even like save your broadcasts, which is pretty cool. So like use those platforms. If you want to create really awesome Facebook Lives, like invest in those platforms. OBS Studio, I think, is free. It used to be free. But either way, like those are amazing platforms where you can do all kinds of crazy things. You can essentially host a webinar every single day of the week if you wanted to, through Facebook Live, through one of those third-party softwares. You can also get really awesome webcams these days. There's one that like will follow your face. I forget what it's called. I can't remember what it's called right now. But you know, if you're moving around, it will follow you. It's awesome. It has facial recognition software. You can also do branded backgrounds to really show your audience, you know, what your brand is about. I don't have one yet because we just moved and I haven't gotten to it. But you know, it's a great way to really show off your brand and what it is. You know, it's a great way to make a statement about your brand. All right, topic number 4. Why Facebook is the #1 platform for live streaming and how to use the power of Facebook to connect with your ideal client on your terms and on your time. Oh, Michelle, you love OBS. I've actually never used it. My VA or my OBM, Online Business Manager, she uses it. She loves it. She's super techie, and I quite honestly am a little bit overwhelmed by it. But I bought like a tutorial on how to use it. I think it was like $10. So cool. It's good to know that you like OBS. I know that one you can share your screen, which I think is really awesome. All right. So this stat I think is, yes, Michelle, there is a huge learning curve though. Yes, I totally agree. So this stat right here that I have for you guys, I think is golden. So 60 to 80% of your viewers will come from replay views. And this is a huge statistic, guys. The fact that people can go back and watch your live video and comment and find it is amazing. It's not gone once you do, you know, your live video. It allows people to connect with you further. And 60 to 80% of your viewers will come from replay views. That's not even live. So if you're getting like 10, 20, 50, 100 people live, you're going to get 60 to 80% more through replay viewers. Like that's phenomenal. Your video will get pushed by Facebook for weeks or months if you continue to get engagement. If your replay viewers continue to engage, if your replay viewers continue to watch, your video can live in Facebook land forever. It can live in people's news feeds forever as long as it's continually getting engagement. And that's where it's up to you to really establish that culture of engagement and to really promote your Facebook Lives. You know, use Facebook's algorithm to your advantage. I think it could be really, really, really helpful. And an example from my business is back in January of 2017, I launched a group coaching program. And I did this whole crazy series of Facebook Lives because I was really really passionate about Facebook Live. But, you know, and they were all in my Facebook group. So people still see those Facebook Live broadcasts. They still get comments every now and then. And that was like, what, 8 months ago? It was a long time ago. And that content is old. I'm in a much different place in my business now, which is awesome. But, you know, it's still relevant content, and it's just older. And people are still going back and seeing it and commenting on it. And that's super cool. So your content never really dies unless you want it to die. Jennifer says, Is that only from a page, or also do it from a group or even a Facebook event? Are you talking about OBS, Jennifer? Maybe a little bit more specific. Oh, or are you talking about the statistic, the 60 to 80%? Which one? Let me know. Okay, so number 2, Facebook notifications. Guys, these are golden. I never really understood why people tell you to subscribe. Oh, how Facebook continues to push it. Jennifer, it's a couple of ways. Okay, so your page, yes, like that's a very traditional way of doing a Facebook Live on your page, because your page will show up in the newsfeed more. Yeah. Your group's not about to show up in the newsfeed unless someone is a part of the group. So yes, if you do a Facebook Live on your page or on your profile, yes, it'll show up more in people's newsfeed. If you do them in your group will just show up more in the suggested groups area. And that spot is golden. I figured people use that. I figured out that people use that a lot. That's how a lot of people come to my group, is through the suggested groups area. Okay, cool. All right. So Facebook notifications. I never really understood why people would tell their audience to like turn on the notifications. Never got it until I actually understood this. So with Facebook, you can technically like subscribe to people's Facebook Lives, which is kind of amazing. It's just like how you subscribe to a YouTube channel or how you follow people on Instagram or on Twitter. You can do the same thing, but with Facebook Live. And by inviting your followers to subscribe to your notifications, they get a notification every single time you do a Facebook Live broadcast, which is amazing. That can be amazing. Your group can be really, really effective because every single person who is in your group gets a notification when you do a Facebook Live. That type of thing does not happen when you post. You can't subscribe to people's posts. You can subscribe to people's Facebook Lives. And it's because Facebook likes Facebook Live. So they want people watching your Facebook Lives. So they're going to help you out. So you can tell people to subscribe to them. Michelle says, are you tagging your group with specific keywords to get into the suggested groups area? I did. I tagged, so my group is called Mompreneur Community. I use like Mompreneur, Biz Builder, things like that. Yeah. And then you say, what are the privacy settings you have in your group? My group is closed, so I have to accept you in. Just because my group is only for women, I don't accept men. It's not secret because then it won't appear in the suggested groups area, and it's not open because I don't want just anyone joining. I have a client that's starting a Facebook group and we're struggling with how to get it more visible to grow the group. Yeah, Michelle, it's hard. It can be hard in the very early stages. She just needs to be really consistent with whatever she's doing. So posting every single day, maybe Facebook Live twice a week, whatever she's capable of doing, the type of, content that she's capable of delivering, she just needs to do it really, really consistently. And your group name is really important. So like before, my group was called Life by Design, which I love. It's the name of my podcast. But people don't go into Facebook and search Life by Design. That's like not a keyword that people would search if they're looking for a Facebook group. So when I changed it to the Mompreneur Community, it got a lot more visible. So I hope that helps.